Blake Lively has filed a legal complaint against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. She's alleging sexual harassment and a coordinated PR campaign to destroy her reputation. You remember that movie, right? It Ends With Us? You know, the one about domestic violence where Blake Lively promoted her hair care line on the press tour and then we all turned on her? Yeah, turns out they got ya. Blake filed the 80-page complaint on Friday against not just Justin, but also key figures from Wayfarer Studios, the owners of It Ends With Us, a publicist, a crisis communication specialist, and an independent contractor. There's stacks of evidence in there, text messages, emails, and more to get into. But it's interesting to note that Justin hired crisis management expert Melissa Nathan, who represented Johnny Depp during his trial with Amber Heard. The connection is easy to see, and the entire situation has sparked a bigger conversation around the public's readiness to hate women, and it has people questioning if Amber was subject to the same type of campaign. Is it really that easy to turn the public against somebody? Who else is a victim? And do we owe Blake Lively and Amber Heard an apology? Let's start during the filming of It Ends With Us. Blake complained to the studio about a number of issues, including repeated sexual harassment and other disturbing behavior by Justin and a producer on the movie. Justin is not only Blake's co-star, by the way, he also directed the film. He's also the co-chair and co-founder of the company that produced the film, Wayfarer Studios. So he's got a lot of power in that environment. Anyway, a meeting was held which included Blake's husband Ryan Reynolds to address what she called the hostile work environment on set. According to the filing, a list of 30 demands relating to the alleged misconduct was made at the meeting to ensure they could continue to produce the film. Here's a few of those demands, and I want you to take special note of the language used here. No more. No more personal, physical touching of or sexual comments by Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath to be tolerated by BL, Blake Lively, and or any of her employees, as well as any female cast or crew without their express consent. No more improvising of kissing. All intimate touch must be choreographed in advance with BL and an intimacy coordinator. No biting or sucking of lip without BL consent. All intimate on-camera touch and conversations must be in character, not spoken from Mr. Baldoni to BL personally. An intimacy coordinator must be on set for all scenes involving nudity and or simulated sex and must have authority to ensure compliance. No more showing nude videos or images of women, including the producer's wife, to BL and or her employees. No more mention of Mr. Baldoni's or Mr. Heath's previous pornography addiction or BL's lack of pornography consumption to BL or other crew members. And this one, which is the most bizarre, no more mention by Mr. Baldoni of him speaking to BL's dead father. For those who haven't worked on a film set, these sort of meetings and enforced changes are a big deal. And those are only a few of the 30 demands agreed to at the time. But in August, the film was released and rumors began to spring up about a rift between Blake and Justin when they did not appear together on the red carpet, and it appeared that Ryan Reynolds had unfollowed Justin on Instagram. What followed was, the documents reveal, was the implementation of a multi-tiered plan to ruin Blake's reputation. And it worked. Within days of the film's release, negative commentary became an unusually high percentage of Blake's online presence, which she proved via a forensic review she got from a brand marketing consultant. She was branded tone deaf for promoting her hair care line during the press tour, a bully, difficult to work with, and then this clip, which was almost totally unrelated to the film, was unearthed.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
I'm not going to bother to defend her behavior in this one, but this video gave people what they saw as hard evidence that Blake was the mean girl she was being made out to be, and the dog pile just carried on from there. The complaint reveals that on July 31st, 2024, following the recommendation of their publicists, Jennifer Abel, Wayfarer, and Mr. Baldoni retained a crisis communications specialist named Melissa Nathan. Ms. Nathan delivered a proposal to Mr. Baldoni, which included a website to discuss, full Reddit, full social account takedowns, full social crisis team on hand for anything, engage with audiences in the right way, start threads of theories. This is the way to be fully 100% protected. As Ms. Abel described it, the plan was to engage in social media mitigation and proactive fan posting to counter the negative, as well as quote-unquote social manipulation. Justin can be seen here responding to the initial document saying, not in love with the document they consent. Not sure I'm feeling the protection I felt on the call. This is the first time I've personally gone through the scenario planning with them, so I think let's let them discuss the thinking behind the document and the actual process and protocol of how they implement these things. That's the most important part of this, is how quickly they can shut things down and play stories in your favor. Be honest on this call, and let's give them real feedback to each point. Justin then says, yeah, just feels very much like there is not much defense, and also them feeling strong like she's gonna do something, just a bit concerning what everyone had originally thought. I think that line, she's gonna do something, is very telling, if not damning. The revelations get worse for Justin and his team from here though. Further texts show that he wanted to bury her. The team were more than willing to do so, as well as attempt to make sure that nobody knew the details of what they were doing. These texts between Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan show, you can of course do that, but I do think he needs to know. I'm going to confidentially send you something he's texting me and Jamie on the side just to arm you before this call. I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. He wants to feel like she can be buried. Of course, but you know, when we send over documents, we can't send over the work we will or could do, because that could get us in a lot of trouble. We can't write it down to him. We can't write, we will destroy her. We will go to this. We will do that. We will do this. We will do this. He has to look at it as an information document for us to be armed with. That's all. Imagine if a document saying all the things he wants ends up in the wrong hands. And you know we can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him. I will. I'll be very tough. Justin went as far as to share a screenshot of a negative Hailey Bieber article and say, this is what we would need, with Miss Abel adding, focus on Reddit, TikTok, IG. It seemed that this plan worked so well that even the minds behind it were surprised at its success. And it appears the woman working with Justin to defend him maybe didn't really like him that much either. This text conversation between Melissa and Abel says, the majority of socials are so pro-Justin, and I don't even agree with half of them, lol. He doesn't realize how lucky he is right now. We need to press him on just how fucking lucky. The whispering in the ear, the sexual connotations, like Jesus fucking Christ. Other members feeling uncomfortable watching it. I mean, there's just so much. It also appears that Blake Lively's apparently tone-deaf comments on the press tour were also like low-key kind of not her fault. It seems the official promotion plan instructed the cast to focus on the uplifting aspects of the film rather than on abuse. Blake's character owns a flower shop, so she was encouraged to embrace the floral theme and encourage moviegoers to wear flowers when they go and see the film. In a promotion cycle, stars are contractually obliged to follow the official promotion plan, so like a lead actor can't just go rogue and say, I hated this movie and I hated everyone on it. So Blake was mostly just doing what she was told or doing her job, which it sounds like she was trying to do from the beginning. Chillingly, in an interview on Access Hollywood, Justin said,
there's never an excuse. No matter how much trauma a man has, there is never an excuse to lay hands and hurt a woman, physically or emotionally.
Start whenever you want, Justin. But as we're up in arms about Blake's situation, this is not the first time this has happened. Did Melissa Nathan do this to Amber Heard as well? If you were living under a rock and somehow missed the ever-engaging Depp v. Heard trial in 2022, the exes accused each other of defamation, and each alleged the other committed physical and emotional abuse as well as used drugs. It was very messy, to say the least. But during that 2-month trial, it felt like the world turned on Amber Heard, and the effort seemed coordinated. According to a report by the research firm Bot Sentinel in 2022, they analyzed more than 14,000 tweets that included at least one of 4 viral anti-Heard hashtags, seeking to characterize her as a liar or an abuser, and they found that nearly 1 in 4 accounts tied to the tweets were created in the last 7 months, and nearly 1 in 5 accounts were dedicated to spamming. So many people are comparing Amber's situation to Blake's current situation, especially considering Melissa Nathan was working with Depp's team at the time. There's clearly a background media machine ready to protect alleged abusers by convincing us women are evil at any given time. But why is it so easy for us to fall for it? Partly, it's because if enough people are saying one thing, it makes it easier to believe. If we imagine X accounts as like real people, it would be easy to feel like everyone around you is saying saying Blake Lively is horrible, so you believe it. Or you're at least more open to believing it. Another is motivated reasoning, which is the idea that people's cognitive processes are biased towards believing things that conform to their worldview. You know, that person agrees with me, so they're right. If you already believe women are difficult or liars or whatever else, then yes, you're more likely to immediately believe that Blake Lively is all of those things and more. And on the other side, if you as a woman were already wary of the statuesque and famously beautiful and rich Blake Lively playing a survivor of abuse, you're of course going to be susceptible to believing she wasn't handling the role gracefully. So now that we know these smear campaigns are real, will we stop believing them? If the media machine can turn Blake Lively from beloved actress to mean girl overnight, who's next? Are we really that quick to judge, or are we just playing into a narrative we're being fed? In a world where reputation can be buried within a few clever tweets, how can we ever really trust what we see? But the plot thickens, the drama intensifies, and the lines between fact and fiction blur faster than Blake Lively can change her dress colour at the Met Gala. So grab your popcorn, I guess. But remember, not everything is as it seems on screen. And as for Blake and Justin, well, I think we've only just scratched the surface here. So stay tuned because this story is far from over.